It is no secret that global population is growing at a rapid rate. In 1900, the world population was estimated at 1.6 billion, which had doubled by 1955 when it was 2.7 billion, and today has doubled again by reaching the current 6.7 billion and growing. Sources say our global population will increase up to 9.15 billion by 2050. This will have a major impact on the social, economic, and political aspects of the world. The majority of population growth will occur in the developing world. There are 8 countries which will be responsible for the main growth in global population, including developing countries India, China, Pakistan, Nigeria, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and Brazil. They will account for 52.3% of the world's population in 2050. The biggest growth in population is expected in Africa and Asia. The 49 poorest countries of the world will have their population double by this time. In this part of the world, disease devastates the populations, with HIV and AIDS in particular, due to inadequate health care. This leaves for a much younger population where children 14 years of age and under make up a substantial 40% of the population. Countries in this area will be forced to spend more and more in order to take care of this growing youth population. On the other hand, developed countries such as Europe and the United States will experience population decline accompanied with a growing elderly population. With a population that is steadily getting older, it will become more and more difficult for the rest of the population to care for the elderly. As the workforce of these countries shrinks, so will their gross domestic product, further decreasing the amount of spending the countries have to take care of the elderly. With the decreased working age population, it will be easier to find jobs, increasing the employment rate. However, it is estimated that in the year 2030, 25.8% of people living in Western Europe will be over the age of 65. Some European countries will even start declining starting in 2025. With 1 in 4 people being supported entirely by taxes, these nations will have to look beyond their borders to find younger working adults. However, there will still be a greater demand for workers due to the decreased working age population, which will cause increased migration from developing countries to developed countries in search of jobs. With an increased immigrant population, governments in developed countries will be forced to deal with both the needs of their own citizens and the needs of immigrant groups. By the year 2050, 70% of the world's population will be living in cities. This causes an increase in urban population of 3.1 billion people. If governments are unable to support such growth, a greater urban poor population would result. This rapid urbanization causes a severe decrease in the rural population, raising the problem of food shortage. Though population growth is inevitable, there are ways we can slow growth and better prepare ourselves for the future. There are 3 main things we can do to help. Number 1, continue to strive to reduce suffering by combating disease and poverty around the world. Number 2, continue to improve resource efficiency and pollution control so that the standards of living can rise without negative impact. And number 3, modifying school curricula to include information on population levels and implications for the future. While population growth can be an immense problem, people can work together to help combat the issue.